In today's video, you'll learn how to do the knotted stitch. The knotted stitch is a tied stitch. It is a very pretty stitch that is good for shading, smaller accents, and borders. It is a slower moving stitch, but it really is worth the effort once you see how pretty it is on your canvas. The stitch is made up of two components, a long stitch and then the tie of the stitch, which is kind of like a backwards tent stitch. So to begin, you'll pull up through the back of your canvas. You'll count over one, and then you'll count up 1, 2, 3 from there. And then I'll tie it off with that backwards tent stitch. So it's going to go directly over that intersection in the middle of your long stitch. So I'll show you again. I'll come directly next to it for my second stitch. I'll count over one, and then I'll go up 1, 2, 3 for my long stitch, and then I'll tie it off in the center over that middle intersection. You want to make sure that you're tying off each stitch as you go versus doing all your long stitches and then your tying stitches. This will give it a more even look and give you a better effect. Now, when you're ready to drop down a row, you'll count down 3 holes starting from and including the hole where your previous stitch began. So I'll count 1, 2, 3. And I'll pull up through the back of my canvas, count over 1, and then up 3. So 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice that my stitch is ending in the same hole where my tie stitch began. Okay, and then I'll come over that middle intersection and do my tie stitch. Now we're just going to work it backwards. So I'll just come directly next to it. I'm going to count over 1 and then up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now the third hole where my needle needs to go is the same hole where that tie stitch began. So you'll need to move your long stitch out of the way, and then I'm going to come and move my move my long stitch out of the way here to do my tie stitch. Okay, so I'll show you again. Up 1, 2, 3. Move that out of the way to get in there, and then tie it off. So you'll just repeat this pattern until you've completed all of it on your design area. You can see that we are creating a really nice woven and almost knotted stitch in 2 different ways, because all of the ties that we're doing are creating knots, and then it looks like we are just weaving in and out of your canvas.